Hi everyone, it's Natalie here. And after a couple of very long weeks of time spent in front of a computer and um, spent running around, I'm really excited to tell you that I finally got my website to a place where I feel good about it. I feel good about putting it out there and informing you. So it's called companioningthedying.com. Um, and it is a very basic website. It has information about just general, what it is to be an end of life doula. It will tell you a bit about my background and what led me to the work, the services that I offer, some frequently asked questions, and there's a contact section. So I now have a new business number. So thank you for that recommendation. I don't see a reason not to say it. Diane Jarecki from Indigo Moon Woman was like, "You've got to get a separate line. do not have, do not have your home number, your personal number on your website," which is a big difference for me because as a teacher. And as an artist and creator, I've always kept everything like all together. And the more I thought about the points that she raised, the more I was like, what am I thinking? Of course I have to have a different number. This is ridiculous. Um, so I went ahead and did that. And there were just some really great suggestions, both, from Diane and Jennifer Ball offered some really great suggestions, and I've managed to incorporate their feedback and some feedback from a few other places. As it continues to roll in and I continue to look at it, I will continue to make adjustments, probably. There are also many things I'm hoping to add. So, it is so basic at this point, and hopefully it will become more, more interesting, more helpful, I guess, more helpful over time, as I learn what people need to know, what needs to be there. So it's called companioning the dying because ultimately that is what I would like the bulk of my practice to be, is to really be present, to be a companion through the process of leaving the body, and leaving this life. And that's a really beautiful thing to witness, actually. If you have ever had an opportunity or had the capacity for it, I think anyone who really has will tell you that it was very life-changing for them. I know Donna from Ozark Oracle has spoken pretty openly about that. Several people have, as it registers with me. I've had this conversation with a few people. But it is very life-changing, and it's also something that a lot of people really can't do and can't be with. And I think we need to recognize and acknowledge that that's also equally valid. It's really okay. We all have different things that we love and different ways of loving others. And, there's a reason why not everybody is good at everything, right? So if you're someone for whom this is a really, not something that you're comfortable talking about, you can join the vast majority of people in my life that I know who have all said, good for you, and I couldn't do it. No way on earth would I do it. So that's really okay. That's really okay. And, there aren't any real reasons why anyone should or shouldn't want to do it. So there's that. The reality is, I think that my practice, at least for a while, is probably going to focus greatly around education, and really going into situations where somebody somebody who has been on hospice for a while, either in a nursing home situation or in a situation where they've had a long-term chronic illness, um, is in need of emergency medical intervention in order for them not to die in a really horrible way, if that makes sense. I could go into greater detail, but I've filmed videos about it. I can't remember if I've spoken about this yet here or not, or if it's just been in videos that I've edited, but it doesn't matter. Either way, those situations, and 3 out of 4 of my grandparents found themselves in that situation. So I've been through this before. And I've been through this with friends and really largely as a doula at this point, situations where the person leaves this situation, they leave hospice, they're comfortable, they're being cared for really well, and then in the medical environment, things go awry and become very uncomfortable, because the shift goes from being able to be present and attend to the person's comfort and to their sense of, spaciousness and ability to be with this process, to one of life-saving, life-saving medical intervention. And that tends to raise a lot of questions that are very uncomfortable for family members. And it shifts the focus completely. So where a family may have felt very resolved and a dying person may have felt very resolved about their situation, in the wake of, going back into a medical environment, suddenly it doesn't seem okay anymore. And it's often really, really distressing to the family when that happens. And sometimes, actually always, I've never not seen it this way, where it is disturbing to the person who's dying. They know. No matter how unconscious they may seem, they know, they're aware. And it's a very difficult place for people to be, because then suddenly they're questioning themselves and whether what they're doing is the right thing, because the focus has shifted, right? And it's the medical establishment's job to be life-saving, right? And life-preserving. So that is where they're coming from, if that makes sense. And, just a little bit of help reframing things and decoding those conversations in hospital can be remarkable in terms of just being able to move forward. Likewise, just having one person there who's not a family member, because the family can't always do it, but, who can really see to the care of that person, of the dying person, make sure that they are comfortable, because remember, there's no hospice there doing that. Palliative care stops. So, being able to attend to that can be really important. So I think a lot of my practice, at least for the first bit of time of doing this, will probably be that. That's been the most common circumstance that I've encountered as a human being. And my first doula experience was that. And, subsequent situations that I've been consulting on have also been that. So, I'm seeing that that's a thing. So really just being able to companion that person through, and the family through, a really rough patch in that overall process may be a large part of where I start. And I'm really fine with that. It's something that I feel comfortable doing. And I have a lot of skills that make that a very a good fit. So yeah, so you'll see it's something that I'm referring to as emergency doula services. which really shouldn't apply because death is actually not an emergency. But the way we respond to it can, and the kinds of situations that come up around it can create one real quick. So, yeah, so that's where we are. That's where we are. So I welcome your feedback and I welcome your engagement. And I thank you for your patience because I'm aware that this is not the most cogent video I've ever filmed. And I'm too tired to edit it properly and really spend the time on it right now. It's too much time in front of a desk, or behind a desk, or whatever it is. Near a desk where you're sitting and there's a computer. Yeah. So, good stuff. I'm going to go see my dad. See my dad. And that was choking on dust, not on emotions, just to be clear there. But yeah, and have some nice food and see my family and wish all of you a great Father's Day. And this will probably not be out until sort of late tonight or early tomorrow. So I also wish you a beautiful week. A beautiful, beautiful week. All right, folks, thank you so much. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.